Thank you, Rue. How are you? Hi, Colleen. Thanks for saying hi. Awesome. It's a really good practice pattern for sure. And it's fun to try it with different colors to see where the threads go. I definitely do, Colleen. I love the sound of the bobbins, like little wooden wind chimes. Are you guys making lace today? Hey, Janine. Rue, that's funny. Today, my husband and I we were splitting wood, and well, he was splitting it and I was hauling it, and so that was most of our afternoon. And in between, sometimes I would just wait for a big pile, and then I would go out and move it around. Hey, Sarah. I would come in, and I was cleaning in my office today. I thought I just kind of need a Sunday refresh. Any of you buy planners at the beginning of the year in the hopes that you're going to use them? And then you don't. Every year. Oh, Sarah, you're gonna love it. It's such good practice. So I've been trying to on Sundays just look through my planner, and I've just been trying to keep track of like the gym and my 2 jobs, and this is one of my jobs. So I'm like, oh, I really need to keep track of like my new patterns, and I have a goal this year to create 12 new patterns. 1 pattern a month. I think that would be nice. But I think there might be times where I get really creative, or I have lots of time and I can create more than 1. I hope so anyway. Oh my gosh, Sarah, oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to find people right there. How was the meeting? Did you bring your lace pillow? Is that the kind of meeting it is, or is it just research or talking about lace? How do you learn this? You can go to the main page of my channel and look at the playlists. I have a playlist for beginners. Oh, how did I learn? Oh, that's awesome, Sarah. Were they all like, who's Galicia Bee? I learned here. I live in Galicia, Spain. And I learned by taking lessons. In person, I attended class for 2 years to learn the basics. And now I'm a member of a lace guild here. And we volunteer at the castle that's in our concello. I guess concello is kind of like city or township. And we demonstrate lace, and we have a little shop there, and it's nice. It's fun. And now I have been creating patterns for a while. This is my newest pattern. The tutorial is up, and this pattern is number 5 in the Skill Builder series. And the rose ground, it's such a pretty, let me grab one that's finished. It's such a pretty pattern, and it looks like these little roses. And it's a stitch that you learn kind of at the beginning of your lace journey. But it's good to practice it, so I just created this bookmark pattern so that people could practice it. And it just looks so pretty. You'll find rose shapes, rose ground in other patterns incorporated into the pattern, so it's good to know how to make them. Thanks for the comments. Even if you just say hi, it's really nice. Or if you just put an emoji like Laura did. Thank you. Some of you have seen me working before. I use this little piece of foam behind my pattern. And the reason I do that is because I'm working on a bolster pillow. It's at an angle about like this right in front of me. And it gets to a point where it's just kind of awkward. And not as comfortable. So I can pull the entire thing up because the pins they're mostly really just only that far in for something like this. And I have these other pins that they're poking all the way into my pillow. Yeah, squish it really tight, Megan. My pillow here, it's stuffed with straw. It's cut up and really packed in there, jam packed in there. That's how the Galician pillows are traditionally made here. And I got mine in Camariñas, which is it's called the lace capital of the world, but it's not. I mean, it's the lace capital of our area for sure. I say it's not because there are a lot of cities around the world say that they're the lace capital of the world. So I just kind of feel like there isn't really a lace capital of the world. But Camariñas is just down the road from us, and they hosted an international lace festival every spring during Semana Santa. It's called the Mostra do Encaixe, which is like a demonstration of lace. And lace makers come from all over the world. And because my guild is here in the area, our guild members go, and we, along with other guilds from all over Spain, and we all make lace during the day, and we do shopping because there are booths and things, so we can get different lace supplies. And there are fashion shows every day, and that's the part that I look forward to the most, are the fashion shows. I love seeing the designers using handmade lace on the runway. Maybe one day. That's kind of like my big goal, my dream, is to apply to be in the fashion show, to have my designs in the show. Skyrim, how do you even start to learn this? You start with the very basics. So you wouldn't start with this many bobbins. You would start with just 2 pairs to learn how to cross and twist and to make a simple chain. It's like a 4-strand braid. And then you start learning the other stitches. You learn whole stitch, half stitch, and then you start learning shapes. You learn cloth stitch. So yeah, you just start slowly. And yeah, most of the people here that I know all started when they were 4 or 5 years old. I didn't start learning until I was, much older. Like about 3.5 years ago, something like that. I can never remember exactly when I started, but it's been like at least 3 years. Oh, yes. Ham, I always forget that I need to put that hashtag that it's the ASMR for people that like to listen. The visual ASMR as well. It's satisfying to watch the shapes take place and the pattern being formed. Hi, thank you for saying hi. Where's everyone watching from? How long does this usually take? This pattern, probably from start to finish, it might be an hour and a half to 2 hours. For me. Everybody is different, you know, and it's not a race. Massachusetts, Texas, Ontario, Canada. Awesome. Another Massachusetts, Arizona. Oh, Megan, I will have to make a video. Maybe my technique will help. I think I missed a question. Florida, Wisconsin, Indiana, California. Awesome. I love that. Czech Republic. Oh, that's awesome. Love it. Sydney. Oh my gosh. Sydney, Australia. Isn't it the middle of the night for you? Could you just not sleep, maybe? Houston, Texas. Oh my goodness. Are you an early bird or did you just wake up in the middle of the night? Oh, Switzerland. Awesome. A bunch of my neighbors lived in Switzerland. I'm making bobbin lace. I'm making a bobbin lace bookmark. This is the newest pattern that I have available. It's a practice pattern to practice what's called rose ground. That's what this pattern is underneath. Oh my gosh, Megan, that's awesome. Yay. Yeah, the Millie Arachne. I know that it looks so complicated, but it's not. It's not. It just takes a little bit of practice. You can do it. That was one of my favorite things, especially at the very beginning, was making spiders. That's why I created the Millie Arachne pattern. I love making spiders. Because they look so complicated, but as soon as you understand that you're just crossing them over each other and put up a pin and cross them back, then there's so many things, like with the rose as well, that once you understand how it's made, it just clicks, and then it just doesn't feel hard anymore. And that one's so fun to try different colors with as well. It's fun to see where the threads are going in the pattern. Thanks everybody who's liking the video too. Thank you. The live stream. What's everybody up to today? This pattern is 32 bobbins, 14 pairs. What does this make? This makes a bobbin lace bookmark. This is what... Isn't it interesting to see where the threads go? This is the same pattern, and it's called rose ground because these are little roses. Awesome. Mylin, I think it depends a little bit where in the world you are, but I do feel like there's a resurgence in interest, which makes me really happy. Here, I just happen to live, you know, near the lace capital of Galicia, Spain, and we have classes here for kids. And the kids here start learning really young. They start learning when they're 4 and 5 years old. If they're going to learn, that's when they start learning, for the most part. And it's not gender specific at all. It's very much taught to anyone and everyone who's interested. We have a lace museum here in Camariñas, and there are classes there as well, I believe. So the tutorial for this bookmark is up, and the tutorial it's a quick one. It's about 5 minutes long, just teaching the rose ground. What happens if you mess up? So let's say I messed up like right in here. All I have to do is backtrack and just go back to the spot where I messed up. So it's easy enough to backtrack because I'm not making any knots in my work, so I can just undo it. Do I do anything special to finish the piece? Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you how the bookmark ends. It's a special technique of bringing the bobbins, the pairs down to the end. It's like a little fishtail. But I don't spray it with a stiffener or anything like that, but you can. Yeah, you absolutely can. I'm using Spanish linen, and I like the way it feels, and I kind of like that it's floppy. So I don't use a stiffener or anything. I just yeah, I mean, it depends a little bit maybe on the type of thread that you want and just like what you're going for. I feel too like rose ground is another one where it just looks so complicated. Like, what is happening? There's so many moving pieces that you have to keep track of, but it's also like spiders, where once you get what's happening, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I think there's so much about bobbin lace that seems really intimidating until it just clicks in your brain. And then also, like, just keeping in mind that it's not a race and you don't have to be faster than somebody, or, you know, you can just go at your own pace, whatever that pace is. I am, Sarah. Are you talking to me? But you know what's funny too is when I was in high school, I used to draw repeating patterns in my notebooks. And I just love repeating patterns. And I think it's kind of funny that this is my job now. That I create patterns. And it makes sense to me that I love repeating patterns, you know? It's like mosaic work or tile work, like all of that. I love all of that. Just, it's so satisfying. Who here is a fiber artist as well? Let me know in the comments. Alright, this is called bobbin lace. These are bobbins, and I'm making lace. Oh no, she wasn't saying it to be rude. Not at all. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's so cool. You make jewelry? Neat. Oh, see, I have a mistake. I just noticed it. I forgot to close that rose, so I'm just gonna go back. I'll show you what I mean. Spin, wool, weave, and sometimes knit. Awesome. Embroidery too. Oh yes. I have an embroidery kit here that I just want to get started, but this is what always happens, is that I just never have enough time in the day. Hello there, this is bobbin lace. Is it the first time you're seeing bobbin lace? Okay, so I forgot to close this rose. This rose is just open. Actually, I need to cross, twist, cross, and twist these again, and now it has like a little X to close it. Awesome, Jocelyn. And so I'm getting better at sewing. My husband got me a sewing machine for my birthday last year, and I've only used it a couple of times because I've gotten frustrated trying to figure out how to thread the machine. and so he has helped me. He already knew how to sew, and whenever I get stuck on something like, oh, why can't I get this to work, or you know, and I always say, hey, can you come help me? And he's a mechanic, and his brain just understands how things work, and where I might not see that, he can just take a look and move some parts, and then he knows what's wrong. Yeah, it is. It's frustrating at first, but it's worth it, I think, the sewing. I just think it's important for people to, you know, have these basic skills. It just seems like a basic thing, or to know somebody who does, you know. I asked my mom, I said, oh, I thought that sewing was supposed to be relaxing, and she said, it is, except when it's not. I was like, yeah, I guess that's the stage I'm at. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal estás? Feliz fin de, que casi se acaba, pero ya estamos aquí. Yeah, and my mom made quilts when I was growing up. I feel like she maybe hasn't made a full quilt in several years, but I also remember going with her to antique shops and, you know, different places, just because it's fun to go into antique shops. But she would find quilt tops and some that like weren't finished, and she'd be like, oh my gosh. So I learned really young like what treasures quilts are, and watching her put all of that work into creating something that is so, it's so special. It's so special. It's something that you're providing to keep somebody else warm, you know? It's like a warm hug. She made us a quilt for our wedding, and last year she brought a quilt top. Well, she had this antique quilt top that hadn't been made into a quilt, and she made it into a quilt. She finished it off. Yeah, exactly, Sue. Also that. And then learning too about the history of sackcloth and how that was used. And so we would go into antique places, and she would point out like, this is definitely sackcloth. And then, you know, she would tell me stories about how when my grandma was little, at different times, one of the girls could go into town with my great grandpa for supplies so that they could pick out the flour sacks with the pretty designs, so because it was their turn to get a new dress. It's like, oh, it's fascinating, isn't it? Just punched my table. I recently listened to a podcast about the flour sacking, sackcloth. I wish I could remember the name of the podcast. If I remember, I'll put it in the comments and pin the comment. Someone will have to help me remember. It was really interesting. Hey, Melissa. Sackcloth. Like flour sacks of flour. Someone help me out in the comments because I don't remember the years. There was a time in the United States when the flour sacks were made of muslin or cotton, and there was a time when they started they started printing patterns on them, like pretty patterns, like flowers and just pretty things that women would want to sew with, like to make dresses or other things. Thank you, Pink. Yeah. And it was, I mean, it wasn't just out of the goodness of their hearts, I don't think. it was also a bit of marketing for them, because if they had prettier patterns, then more people would want to buy their brand of flower. Oh, I forgot again. I'm on the corner and I forgot to close that rose again. Go back. And if you look up, you'll see some of the patterns. And it's really interesting if you're in an antique shop, in the US especially, you'll see, if you're lucky, you'll find quilting or even like quilt tops that haven't been finished into quilts. And you'll see sackcloth in these older quilts. Because once they used as much of it for, clothing and other things, then they had little bits of it left. And they would use those in designs. Oh, that's so cool, Colleen. What colors did you do? Did you reverse what you'd done? Yep, well, here, I'll show you what I did when I get to the next one. Yeah, I undid my work so that I could go back up to that rose. I'll show you the mistake that I made that I had to go back and fix. I'll show you how I made it. Ooh, nice, Colleen. Yes. Faraya. Yes, exactly. And you would see it used for like dish towels and all sorts of stuff. I can't tell if I twisted that one. Too busy chit-chatting. Nope, I didn't. No, I did. Did you hand spin that yarn, Colleen? So the mistake I made up there is, so this rose, let me get a different pin. This rose right here, it's not closed yet. In order to close it, the two pairs that are coming off of it, I have to twist them each, cross, twist across them, and then twist, twist again, and then they're ready. And I forgot to do that part, so. Oh, I love when there's tons of people and we can chit chat like this. Definitely think a friend of mine here spins. She was teaching me how to use a drop spindle, and I have some wool here. I just need to sit down and do it. I got wool from one of our neighbors. A bunch of our neighbors have sheep. And originally I wanted the wool just to process it and use it for felting projects. Then I thought, well, maybe I want to learn how to spin too. It just seems really relaxing. This is a new kit. I have a thread kit as well. I have a link in the description. Oh, nice. Thank you. Thanks, Club. I'm glad you found us today. I really like felting as well. That's also super satisfying. I think I'm going to take off of here in just a little bit. I'm not going to finish the entire thing during this live. Let me know in the comments if you want to see some other color schemes with the rose pattern. Aw, well, I feel special that you're here, Pink. It's nice. It's nice when people are chit-chatting. Oh, here, I almost did it again. I'm just so used to just taking the next pair. I need to close that rose. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me for a little bit. Thank you to everybody who liked the live stream. Oh, wow, you chose it for an optional class. That's so cool. In, like, high school? That's amazing. This is the newest pattern in the learning series. It's the rose ground bookmark. The tutorial for the bookmark is live, and you'll see it. It says bookmark number 5, rose ground. So this isn't the first bookmark you want to start with, unless you already have experience. But my skill builder series teaches you specific things in order so that you can build on what you already know and learn new things. And then I have a very limited quantity of thread kits for this bookmark as well. Neat. Okay, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go check on our fire, get ready for dinner, see what my husband is cooking, and maybe I will be live again later this week. Maybe I'll do a No Talking Tuesday this week if I'm free. But if not, then hopefully we catch each other again. Thank you everybody who was commenting, and I appreciate that so much. It's super helpful to me. Thank you for liking and sharing and just being here. Thank you for subscribing and ringing the bell, so hopefully you'll be told when I go live and you can join me again. And I hope you all have a Jocelyn, yes, it's torch on. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I hope you get outside, but I also hope that you just do something creative. And have a wonderful start to your week. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, everybody.